we have done this a couple of times before, and Pan de Cristal is some of our most viewed videos on our channel.
And one of the most delicious also.
It is very nice. It is super delicious, very, very good crust on that bread. But we thought we can give it a third run here and make one, let's call it Pan de Cristal on steroids, because actually a viewer gave us this hint some time ago and we tried it in a bread recipe and it's fantastic. What we're going to do is we're going to use what's called Vital Wheat Gluten, which has 75% protein content. We'll get back to that because first we have to make a poolish, which by the way we didn't do in the previous episode. So this is also a change. I have here 250 grams of Caputo type 00, around 13% protein. And we are going to do this very simple. A little bit of dry yeast, literally 2 pinches, not more, just 2 pinches, quarter of a teaspoon, call it what you want. Grab a spoon, give it a little bit of a dry mix, so it's mixed around. And then we're going to add 250 milliliter of water, so 100% hydration, like we do a poolish for a pizza or ciabatta or whatever. The only thing here is to mix this with your spoon. It's very wet. As soon as the flour absorbs this, it's going to be like a thick batter. We're going to look at batter much more today, pancake batter. But just give it a good mix. It's not so much other than stir it with a regular spoon. You don't have to do anything crazy here. And basically, all you have to do now, when it looks like this, it's like a, batter, thick batter. Yeah, it's just gloopy mess. You're going to cover this, and then you leave it on your countertop overnight, or you leave it 1 hour out and 2 to 3 days in the fridge, depending on when you make it. So I'm going to put this aside, because as a true TV kitchen, I made one yesterday, and here you see the difference. I can take this back so you can actually, maybe you can see it. See the gloopy mess, and look how it changed color and appearance. It's all smooth, full of bubbles, and it smells super yeasty because that yeast has fermented overnight, and that gives hell of flavor to your bread and a lot of good crust and crumb. So this is a vital step to making also good pizza, by the way. Now we're moving on with our yeast, because although I have yeast in the poolish, I'm not gonna wait for that to do the fermentation of our dough because that will take way too long. So I'm gonna take, this is 250 grams, as I said, and 250. So here I have 550 milliliter of water because I'm going with total 800 grams of flour. Actually a little bit more because the Vital Wheat Gluten is 100 grams. Technically it's not a flour, but whatever. We're gonna go in with, let's say, half a tablespoon of honey. Just give it 20 seconds in your microwave because then it's so easy to get it out and it dissolves like nothing. And that will help us bloom our yeast quickly. And that's what we want. 13 to 14 grams of dry yeast goes straight in. And now we're going to let that hydrate and then mix it well so that it can have time to bloom. What we're going for here is we want to see that the yeast is well and alive. We want to see foam on top and bubbles in the water. If it doesn't do that, then you throw it out and go over again. Otherwise, you destroy your whole baking exercise. So just give it a good mix. And we set this aside. And then we continue with our dry ingredients.
By the way, if you like our videos,
True.
Subscribe, send us some comments.
Give us a thumbs up.
Yes, give us a thumbs up so we continue making videos for you.
Exactly. That helps us grow our channel, and that is what we are here for. So, as I said, 250 grams of flour, and then I have 550 grams of the same type of flour that goes into our big bowl. I have 100 grams of Vital Wheat Gluten. So now comes the calculation, because this is 13% protein, which is 104 grams of the combined 800. This is 100 grams, which has 75% protein. So now we have 900 grams of total dry volume, which the two proteins calculated, then we end up at 20% protein, which is significantly higher than the Caputo Manitoba we did. So in with that.
I hope, guys, you're good in math because I'm lost.
We will write it down below. Don't worry. And then 25 grams of sea salt. It's a little bit on the high side because you want it to be a little bit salty. That's good flavor. But you want to give this a thorough dry mix because all of this has to be well combined because there is no kneading in a machine here. This is strictly by hand and flip and folds later, as you will see. So we give this a good mix, and I would just let that wait here till our yeast is ready. So see you in a couple of minutes. And a couple of minutes, and when your yeast looks like a cappuccino, have a look at that.
It has, yeah.
Okay, I let it go a little bit extra so you really could see it because you don't have to make it go that far, but in order for visuals for you guys. First, we are going to pour this into our poolish to break that up a little bit because if we just mix it with the flour in one go, then it's difficult to break it up. So into our poolish with all of this nice yeasty water, and then we want to break this up. It's a little bit difficult to break up because it's strong. So we get sort of dissolved. Don't go too far. You don't need to be completely dissolved, but just give it a good hand there. Then we take our dry mixture and we add all of this into that. And basically just with a regular spoon, we're going to mix all this. As I said in the beginning, this will look a little bit like pancake batter and not much of a dough. But that's the whole idea. And that's also the whole idea about adding Vital Wheat Gluten, because by raising the gluten level and the protein level, you get a much stronger dough that can carry a very high hydration. And I'm very curious to see what that's going to do to our end result on Pan de Cristal, because the last 2 times they've been very good, but I expect this to be even better. And of course, we will leave a link down below so you can see the old ones just to see the comparison. So give this a good mix for a couple of minutes. And when everything is like this, a thick pancake batter, it's really wobbly, just a big mess, then we're going to take a rectangular box which is oiled inside and oiled all the way up the sides because this is going to grow. And the reason for the rectangular container I'll show you later because that has a very important because of the shaping of the dough of the breads later. So get your bench scraper, take down the sides so we don't leave anything behind. And then we're just gonna, I'll see if I can do it this way, dump everything in here. One big sloppy mess.
He will grow your baby soon.
We have seen it before. We've seen it before. Yeah. So don't despair. This is going to be good. Leave that there. And then what we're going to do is simply leave it as it is. We're going to cover it up. And now we're going to leave it for 20 to 30 minutes, not more. Don't let it go too far, but 20 to 30 minutes. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. And 25 minutes passed. And as you can see here, I don't know if you can see, but not a whole lot of things are going on here if you see it from the side. We have a little bit of gas starting to build small holes around here, but it's not a lot. But that will change. So don't despair. Stay with me. This will be good. Wet hand, because now this is extremely sticky. Basically what you do now is you just fold it over like this. It's like playing with mud because there is no gluten strength anywhere in this. So you just flip it over and go around and continue this, and already you will see that it starts becoming a little bit stronger. See, it stays more in the middle. This is the start of building up gluten network. A couple of good rounds here to activate the things. That's what we need. That's it, nothing more. Cover it and you give it another 20 to 30 minutes, another 25 minutes, and now we are starting to see some action. See, almost doubled in size. And you see the bubbles we're getting here? I think you can see it through the camera.
That looks promising, yeah.
It does, and it's getting stronger. Now let's see if we can do a coil fold or it will break because maybe we have to do the flip and fold. But let's give it a shot. There might be a chance that we can do the coil fold. So wet hands, and then we take it here from the middle.
Ah,
and then we flip it.
Kinda, yeah.
No. Oh, it will come 2 seconds. Look.
Yeah, I know.
How it's coming. And there we are. Then we are folding it over itself like this, and that will build extra strength. It's the same. You could also just do flip and fold. I mean, it's up to you. But you give it, you see how it's coming out?
Yeah, true.
So it's building up strength. It's not super strong yet. You can see it does break.
The third time will be the charm.
Exactly. So flip it over itself like this. It doesn't really matter how beautifully you do it. It just matters that you are activating the dough so that you are building up gluten strength. And another 25 minutes. And it's not to bore you with flip and fold and coil folds and all of this, but I wanted you to see the development of the dough. So now you see it's definitely double, and you see a lot of action. You see a lot of nice bubbles forming, especially actually on this side. So we have quite active dough right now, and it's getting better and better. So now let's see how strong it is, because we want to check out the strength. So we try and see what we can do here with our dough. Box moves a little bit. There we are. Look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Now it's strong. And you can pull it out. Look at that. Still breaks a little bit, but that's okay. Foil it over, flip it over, build some strength like this. This is going to be good. Basically, you have to feel the dough now, because this was the third flip and fold we're doing, and I believe this is enough. If you don't have this kind of strength, then you give it a fourth go, but I think we're going to let this go now for another 25-30 minutes, and then we are ready to shape our loaves. And now it looks, there, look at the bubbles, how big they are, and see from the side. This is very alive and strong, and that's nice. So now we have to flour this up. And yeah, I have seen all these fancy where they throw flour around like this all over the place. First of all, my wife would kill me.
For sure.
Second of all, why would you throw flour all over your kitchen so you have to clean it up afterwards? No. See here, strainer. And then we flour first the top of the dough quite liberally, because we need to, I'll show you how we do that. We need to move some flour down the sides of the dough. So give it a liberal coating here. And then our work surface, which is the board I have in the middle here. As you can see, I have 3 of those boards there. Not sponsored in any way, but they are fantastic, and they're cheap, and they're from IKEA. But you see, this way you don't get flour all over the place. So this is a much better way to do it.
Unless they want to make their life harder.
Yeah. And then the tools, don't forget the tools, because this is a sticky dough. I mean, as you can understand, it's 100% hydration, so it will stick to goddamn everything around you. So like this. And then we're going to take our floured bench scraper here, a little plastic one here, and then we're going to take it down the sides to release and bring down some flour, so we degas as little as possible. We don't want to lose any of the air we have built up in the dough right now. So like this, and there we go. And now I'll try to flip that out so you can see. Whoops. There we are. Look at that.
Wow.
That is beautiful. And then my baking paper here for this board. Now we want to flour the bottom of this. It's almost running over the edge here, but I will save it, don't worry. I'm not so worried about that, but we want flour here. Flour is your friend, especially when you're making this kind of really high hydration. Then we want to split this down the middle here with our bench cutter. And be careful that we try to avoid deflating. That's the whole trick here. See how it sticks? And then let's split them here so we make 4 nice loaves. And you can, when you're careful, you can shape these up now with a bit of flour on your fingers and your bench scraper. You can shape them so they don't run away from you. And then we are going to take these in a fast swoop like this and place it here. And there you go, that's what you want. And now we make it rectangular. As I said, you can shape it, but you have to be careful.
Don't press much.
Exactly. You want to keep the gas in the dough to get that nice airy crumb after. So second one, there we go. And again, same story. And we lost no gas, mind you. No gas was lost in the process. And one more over here. And the last one here. There you see. And that's where we're going to leave them now. What we're going to do now is we are going to let them rise for probably 45 minutes, something like that. But we're going to let them rise uncovered because we want them now to form a little bit of skin. This is so high hydration, so don't worry, it's not going to dry out or anything. But that little skin on top, that will help us form that crystal crumb, that glass crumb that is all about. Now they've been resting 45 minutes, and look how the big bubbles, they're coming up here. That's what you want to see. That's going to give us that open crumb that we're looking for. So I have the oven preheated at 230 degrees Celsius with a pizza stone in the middle. You do need a pizza stone for this. That is important. I'm using a pizza peel because that's the easiest way to get them on, although they're on paper, because they are kind of fragile, these little puppies here. So give them a little bit of distance, align them, and then we're going to stuff them in just like that. Whoopsie, and back they go. Then we're going to spray in a fair amount of water mist to create some steam in the oven room. Well, if you're lucky enough to have a steam oven, of course you don't have to do this, but that will allow the crust not to form too early so that they rise and you get a good oven rise. Now they're going to bake there for probably, we will check in 25 minutes. The two others I'm throwing in another oven I have over here, but don't despair. If you don't have two ovens, just let them rise some more, because with this kind of hydration, they can take the extra proofing. About half an hour. Let's have a look how we're doing. And they are looking beautiful. And listen, I don't know if you can hear this.
Yeah.
That looks just good. Let me see here. See, that is crusty. The two others are a little bit behind, but that doesn't matter. Now we're going to let these cool down to a little bit down so we can cut open and taste how well we did. And there we go. All four are out. And would you look at this? If that's not pretty, just listen. That's crust, and it's good crust. So let's see how they look.
Ooh, and they're steaming.
They're still too warm, but okay.
Oh, nice.
Well, look at that. And the inside is, because of the high hydration, is so moist and so nice. It's fantastic. Let me cut off a slice here. I mean, I cannot translate that, but it's so moist and beautiful. It's fantastic. And the crust is super hard, like exactly what you want from this. Now there's only one thing to do. Olive oil. Dip it in, and let's see how we did. You hear that?
Yeah, I can hear the sound. I'm a little jealous now.
In my mind, the Pan de Cristal beats ciabatta. The crust is so hard, and that crunchy feeling is so nice texture. But the crumb, it's almost like a focaccia inside. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a bread you have to try. That's the only thing I can say. Just make it. It's easy. A little bit sticky, but you can do it.